Hello everyone, welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. This is a special Prepared Mind Syndicate, PMS, also known as Syndicate R. I couldn't even wait to get into my place, my house, to talk about this topic. I was driving home and I cannot take any more of the QAnon bullshit. Okay, I just listened to someone trying to explain how activate sessions meant it's time for him to step down. You don't activate someone to quit. I mean, it's just, everything is fucking stupid. It's all stupid. Everything that happens is happening exactly to plan, according to these Q people who believe that Q is real. Right? It's ridiculous. And they're using and citing as proof today. And the reason I'm talking about this is I don't want people to fall victim to believing and putting their hope and their emotional and their spiritual feelings and salvation into something that's not real. To say, just to say that, well, see, Q came out and posted thank you to Sessions, and then Donald Trump came out and said thank you to Sessions an hour later. And that is such a bizarre coincidence that it must be the same people. Why would, this is the question you have to ask, why would Sessions, Jeff Sessions, need to get a public thank you from Trump via Twitter, as well as a super secret decoder ring thank you from Q Plus through the Q channel? Why would Sessions care about getting thanked that way? And if you look at the number of people following Q, 1 million people? Even if it's 3 million people, it's still less than 1% of the population that has any idea what Q is about. How can that be significant enough to have an effect on international politics and world policy? It's asinine. It's becoming comically stupid at this point to say that everything that's happening, Trump, the President Trump, called for a red wave. But the super secret decoder ring, breakfast cereal gobbling Q Plus says everything went right according to plan. Right down the middle. We're kicking ass with our plan. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, well, you see, John, it's a deception. It's a deception. So what we need is 1 to 3 million people paying attention to Q's posts and believing it and not knowing when we're going to be deceived or lied to in order to try and trick the Democrats into thinking that's the real president. I remember when Q was first started, they were telling us this is a way for us to play along and follow along and see what's really happening. But then they discovered, oh, wait. That means the Democrats can do the same thing and they'll discover our plan. So now Q isn't about letting us, the little people, know what's going on. No, now it's about where we go one, we go all, which means we're going to deceive you. Well, you need me to be deceived in order to fool the fucking Democrats? Why don't you just cut the middleman out and just fool the fucking Democrats and do stuff? Why do you have to thank Sessions 3 times? Why is firing or asking for Sessions to resign, why is that now all of a sudden a part of the long-term plan? Well, you see, there wasn't a date on the resignation letter, so that must prove something. It doesn't prove anything. We keep getting told that indictments are coming soon, and that now that we have indictments, there's going to be prosecutions coming soon. Oh, next week, something big's going to happen. Boom, 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 and nothing happens. Sessions is the stealth bomber. He hasn't bombed anyone. Every time we get a promise from Q, it gets told, well, that was a deception. Sorry we had to fool you and you play along. If they're fooling us 80, 90% of the time with these Q drops, why should I pay any fucking attention? Why should the Democrats pay attention if 90% of it is a deception? Are you telling me that they're so smart that they need one more layer of being toyed with to fool the Democrats? Why do you have to, if you're Q, tell everyone on our side who's listening that these people are stupid and they're evil? Yeah, we fucking know that. Why do you have to tell us that? Like we didn't fucking know? Like we didn't think that you already knew? You don't have to fucking sell me. I know Democrats are stupid and evil. How is you telling me that as Q supposed to make me believe that the deception that you feed me is necessary and part of a truth? It's just fucking stupid. At this point, it's stupid. The Prepared Mind Syndicate is more accurate than Q. Criminy. In fact, I am now. I am R Syndicate Prime. That's my name, R Syndicate Prime. Because yesterday I did a video. And in that video, I talked about Ruth Bader Ginsburg needing to step down because she isn't healthy enough and she's not mentally safe enough, right? She's not competent. And then just the next morning, right after my video was released, Ruth Bader Ginsburg falls down and she cracks 3 ribs. She fell down in her office. And see, that's symbolic of her office is fallen down. Her office is failing. So we need to get rid of her, right? Because I'm R Syndicate Prime. It's kind of like Optimus Prime, but R Syndicate Prime. And so that's how inside I am. I'm not just some little guy in a rural city in California broadcasting from his trailer or his truck. I'm actually R Syndicate Prime. I'm John, the Prepared Syndicate Mastermind. And I predicted this. So actually, I have a secret cabal of super patriots who see the future one day in advance and put out videos talking about it. This Q thing is ridiculous. But the news about Ruth Bader Ginsburg really is absolutely fascinating. Me talking about it has absolutely nothing to do with what happened. Complete and total coincidence. And I don't believe in coincidences. But that, in this case, actually was a fucking coincidence. But what are the odds, John, of you saying something and then it happening? Right? She's going to fall down the stairs. You know, my question is, for real, right? Well, let's answer the circumstances. These circumstances are good. She is a walking fossil. She is a dotard. If it can be applied to a female Supreme Court justice, she is a dotard now. Mentally not there. And she's the leader of the radical Democrat socialist Supreme Court justices. I mean, it's ridiculous. I could have predicted that her face would have fallen in her bowl of Cheerios, and the odds of that happening are pretty high because she's so old. There's no coincidence there. I'm predicting things based on probability. So the big question is not, am I actually R Syndicate Prime? Is that really the question? No, the question is, how much longer can this old bat hold on? And I mean that with all lack of sincerity, as you can understand. I think she's an old, nasty bat. She doesn't belong in the Supreme Court. She didn't belong in the Supreme Court when she was nominated, in my opinion, but that wasn't my decision. I didn't have the authority to stop that. But my question is she fell in her office. Why? Why did she fall? Did she black out? Did she have a seizure? Did she trip on her fucking shoelaces? Right? Did someone put a banana peel on the floor? Some member of the R Syndicate? Right? But if she passed out, why? Did she have a fucking aneurysm? Did her heart stop pounding in her chest for 1 minute and she blacked out from oxygen deprivation? And as she was blacking out, she tried standing up and walking, and she just fell on her fucking face and cracked 3 ribs. I don't know what happened, and they're not going to tell us the truth, even if they could figure it out. You walk into her office and Ruth Bader Ginsburg's laying on the ground. I'm surprised that the dog didn't show up and just start digging a hole and then bury her right there. I mean, this lady is old. And I absolutely have nothing wrong with the elderly, with the aged. I don't think that it's wrong to be that old, to be a dotard. There's nothing wrong with being a dotard. The problem is being a dotard and being on the Supreme Court, being mentally incompetent and having that type of authority. That is the problem. Ruth Bader Ginsburg needs to be discharged from her duty. And if I was Q, I would say, Ruth Bader Ginsburg activated. You're fired, right? I mean, give me a break. She's not activated. She needs to be fucking put in a rest home, right? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if she had an aneurysm, if she had a stroke, if she had a seizure, and it is for those reasons that she fell, those have to do with the brain. Those are brain problems, a seizure, an aneurysm, or a stroke. Her brain is compromised in such a way that I don't think she can do her job properly. I mean, what are we, and I'm not making fun of Stephen Hawking's, okay? What are we going to do? Set her in a chair. She can't talk. She can't move. She can't indicate anything, but we're going to trust the words coming out of a computer and believe that that's actually Ruth Bader Ginsburg giving us answers. Is that next? Literally, is that the next step, is to Stephen Hawking's her? I mean, they could have a fossil out of a museum and go, whoop, there she is. Yeah, she's still alive, but listen to the computer talk. And it's actually some kid in the next room typing stuff in and sending it over Wi-Fi to come out her computer and blab out a bunch of socialist legal doctrine that we're supposed to believe is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it should have all the authority of a sane, rational human being. No fucking way. The reason this is so important is because Donald Trump has already appointed 2 Supreme Court justices. The Supreme Court is now not socialist. And he could have Ruth Bader Ginsburg gone and replace her with his 3rd Supreme Court justice nominee, and have the Supreme Court actually lean, not just a little bit, but a lot of it, leaning conservative, pro-Constitution, pro-law and order. And I'm sure if this fucking happens, Q is going to say they're responsible for it. It was part of their plan. They knew it was going to happen. It's the non-patriots that are responsible for it. You know, that's the type of shit we don't need anymore. No more fucking fantasy lands and games. Shit just happens because it's happening. Trump got elected because nationalism is better for America, and enough people saw it and went for it. That's why Trump got elected, not because there's some super secret cabal of computer nerds somewhere playing a fucking game and they put down their Dungeons and Dragons and started applying their brilliant intellect to U.S. politics, that now the world's going to be saved. No fucking way. Back to Ruth Bader Ginsburg in reality. Whether she had an aneurysm, a stroke, a seizure, or she just blacked out and fell, can we trust that she doesn't have brain damage at her age and her fragility on a physical way to think about this? Can we safely say that when she fell and broke her ribs, that she probably cracked her skull, or at least there's a chance of it, and that she's got and suffering brain damage on top of whatever problem caused her to fall? Even if it's just, well, I got dizzy and fell. Shit happens, right? What's wrong with your brain that's causing you to fall so hard you break 3 ribs? Is your brain broken, Ruth Bader Ginsburg? And I'm not just talking about your inability to come to logical conclusions and make real decisions about what the Constitution actually means. I mean, is your fucking brain broken on top of the fact that you're morally and legally retarded? And by retard, I mean unable to keep up and perform at an average level. I think she is not capable and competent to perform. She is not serving at a time of good behavior because she's incapable of doing her job. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it is time for you to activate yourself right over to an old folks home and just enjoy the salad days of your elderliness. Boo! If shit wasn't going to hit the fan, would there be a need to keep her in place, in office? No. Shit is getting close to hitting the fan, and we are in an all-out struggle between good and evil in this country. It has nothing to do with Q. It has to do with good and evil duking it out in these final days where conservatives or freedom-loving people and non-freedom loving totalitarian communists are so diametrically opposed that now we cannot stand each other and even sit in the same room. Shit is going to hit the fan because we're going to come to blows. There's going to be a partisan conflict that erupts because the system is coming down. Now, as the R Syndicate Prime, I'm going to change subjects over to the Thousand Oaks shooting that occurred in California. 13 people are dead, including a sheriff's deputy. The gunman, a Marine, opened fire in a country bar with a handgun that had an extended magazine. Oh, he had an extended high-capacity magazine. How evil. I'm sure if they could have turned it into a black rifle extended magazine handgun, they'd have done that, but they can't. So the extended magazine was illegal. Right? It was a high-capacity magazine it's a high-capacity magazine that in California is illegal to have. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I, as a Marine who's been trained in the handling of firearms and a variety of very fun and interesting weapons, if I had two 10-round magazines, I could have shot 20 people faster than someone with a 15-round high-capacity magazine could have shot 20 people, because with a 15-round high-capacity magazine, you can only shoot 15 people. But with two 10-round magazines, I could shoot 20 people. What I'm saying is I don't care whether or not he had a high-capacity magazine. All you have to do is put in another magazine, and you can continue to kill people. It is irrelevant whether or not the magazine was high capacity or not. But for the purposes of using this tragedy and the deaths, and I love how everything is a mass murder. If you kill more than one person, it's a mass murder. For political expediency by the left, by the gun-hating communist left, they needed to call it a high-capacity illegal magazine in order to demonize the situation even more. This happened in California. And because it happened in California, it's going to carry a lot more weight than it would if this had happened in another state. You see, California now has a new governor that's coming in. You got a new sheriff in town. His name's Gavin Newsom, right? He needs just a little more what? He needs a little more to point at and use his newfound political power. He's going to make his mark, in other words, by using this as political fodder. The deaths of these people, he's going to politically capitalize on. Right? I don't know whether it was a conspiracy or not. I don't know whether the guy, I have no idea whether or not he is a Manchurian candidate, CIA, mind-controlled, mind-numbed robot. I don't know what his politics are. I have a serious doubt that he is a, in his right mind, conservative person, you know, a nationalist, Trump supporter. I don't know what his political affiliation is, but I have a feeling that he's a mass murdering scumbag. And it doesn't matter whether he was Army or Marines or Coast Guard. It doesn't matter what his service was, right? And we have mass murderers who were never in any branch of the service. But everything about this guy that the left can use to demonize a sector of people and the tools of self-defense, which are firearms, they're going to do. Right? For the purposes of politics, they're going to use the death and tragedy of these people to push their anti-constitutional, anti-Second Amendment policies and try and get people to surrender their rights to a government that doesn't respect life any more than murderers do. Because for political expediency, and for the purposes of supporting military-industrial complex corporations, people are sacrificed all the time. Remember Benghazi? People were left and hung out to dry for political expediency. People are killed in combat. Marines, soldiers, SEALs, it doesn't matter who they are. They're killed for political expediency. People are used in tragedies for political expediency. It's about government power being increased, whether it's for Democrats or Republicans. If they're evil bastards, they're going to use things for political expediency. My right as a human being to own a weapon and defend myself and protect myself and those around me, both family, friends, and strangers. My right exists whether or not the government exists. The government grants me nothing. The government has to recognize my right. And when they choose to not recognize it and then call it a privilege that requires a license and permission from the government, and that they can take that away, it is not much further after that where the government decides who lives and who dies for their political expediency, and that I will not have a weapon, a way to protect myself. They already have mass advantage by having communications, by coordinating their efforts and their attacks on people, whether it's done with law enforcement or military. Governments around the world take every advantage to always press for what is expedient for them. Hillary Clinton is a criminal. For political purposes of expediency, she has not been arrested. Whether it's extortion or bribery, right? Whether there's blackmail, Hillary's not arrested. It's convenient politically not to do so because she may have so much dirt on everyone else that they'll go down. And that is political expediency. I have fucking had it with the system. I'm not going to do anything about it. There's nothing I can do. But I've had it with the lies and the bullshit. And now we have this Q thing being taken to such a comically extreme level to try and use delusional concepts and ideas to mislead the American people who want to be patriotic, who want to see real action taken to recover and restore our government, and that this Q phenomena is being used to take advantage of people's hopes and dreams and wishes. It's disgusting to me. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that this is all part of the great plan, and it is so well orchestrated and understood so far ahead of time, and these people are so fabulously fucking brilliant that this has to be done. I hope that it's true, I guess, and that ultimately we all get to be free, but I'm just not buying it. The corruption, the stupidity, the lies, the usury, the tricks, everything that is going on right now, folks, in my opinion, it serves as evidence to me that we cannot trust anyone and that we need to be ever vigilant and be prepared. Right? I have to ask all the Q supporters out there, if Q is right, if Q is so smart, if Q is capable of deceiving not only the Democrats but also us, then you don't need to be a prepper anymore. If they know everything and they've got a plan to handle it all, and it's all going according to plan, according to Q, for over a year and a half now, then go ahead and sell all your preps. Put all of your guns in the gun store on consignment and sell them. Start eating all of your prep food and giving it to your neighbors and giving it out to charity, because Q is so smart and these people have got it right that there's nothing more to worry about. You absolutely do not have to be a prepper or a gold and silver stacker or even worry about being a patriot because Q is handling it for you. Or It is one more level of bullshit that we have to wade through to make it through a day, right? Whether it's this guy in California just killed 13 people and we need to surrender our rights, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg is so brilliant that we have to have her on the Supreme Court. And Q is just so brilliant that there's nothing to worry about, then go ahead by all means. Just turn in your prepper card and go sit on your couch and start watching television again and don't give it a second thought. Or you can see what's happening for what it is. That the poor people and their families that are part of this tragedy in Southern California that are killed, it's being used for political expediency. And then you can look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg being propped up in a chair and being kept on life support, basically, for political expediency for the Democrats and the left wing of this country of ours. And you can look at Q and see that people are being politically, emotionally, spiritually exploited for someone's purpose. And that's what Q is about. It's a trick. People are being tricked. They're tricked into believing that good things are happening when they're not. There's good things that are happening, no doubt. I'm not saying that this Huber fella out of Salt Lake City isn't doing things. I'm not saying that all of the sealed indictments aren't real. What I'm saying is that this great master plan that Q keeps talking about and everyone keeps talking about is real. I don't think it's real. I think good things are happening, but it's not this Q. This Q thing, it's just not there. It's not there, and I don't want people being deceived anymore. You don't need to be deceived any more than I need to be deceived anymore. There's enough deception and exploitation and bullshit going on now that as an American and as a prepper and as a patriot and as a vet, I don't need any more bullshit and deception. I see it for what it is, and I'm getting prepared for it. Right? Chance favors the prepared mind. That's a fucking reality. That is a truth. Right? That's the reality, is we need to be ready. And the more ready you are, the better your chances are. And trusting in a bunch of nerds in a back room, crunching words and phrases through an algorithmic process and then putting a bunch of stuff out there and claiming they know what's going on. It's not right and it's not fair. It's not just and it's not honorable to mislead people and then say deception's part of the game. Take another spoonful. Somehow I got on a rant. Oh, that's right. I got tired of hearing all of this bullshit. Right? No more bullshit. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Eyes open. There is lots to worry about and lots to think about and lots to plan for. Right? Get ready for it. It is coming. More weirdness is on the way. Eyes open. Stay frosty. Head on a swivel. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Our Syndicate Prime out.